Endgame, brought to you by Boeing, continuing our mission to connect, protect, explore, and inspire.
Back now with Endgame. Hugh Hewitt, is this next week, is Congress going to be engulfed in the sexual harassment issue because we're going to hear probably more names trickle out? Or is the tax bill actually going to get some meaningful room for debate? Or is it already?
I think it's already cooked. It will get through the Senate, I believe.
This coming week?
Not this coming necessarily, but it will get through within 10 days. Yeah. And that when it does, it will be the big conference committee discussion. But I don't think they're going to be engulfed by the harassment only. You can do two things at one time. You can hold two thoughts at one time. There will be many other stories. We had 300 people slaughtered in Egypt. We are always one news cycle away from something like that.
Is this a good tax bill for Republicans to run on in 2018, Michael Gerson?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it could have been. I think there were parts of it that would have been popular. But you had the University of Chicago study this week where they surveyed a bunch of economists, 38 economists, and almost universally.
Well, no, my favorite is 37 of the 38 believed the same thing, and the 38th misinterpreted the question.
Exactly. Yeah. And they concluded that you're not going to see significant growth out of this, and you're going to blow a hole in the debt and deficit. And are there 3 Republicans left in the Senate that actually care about debt? I'm not sure. I probably agree. I think they go along because they think the alternative is worse. Passing nothing is worse.
It's also a missed opportunity to invest in the things this country needs. I mean, we talk a lot about the deficit and the debt, but we also have a child care affordability crisis in this country. We have a student loan crisis in this country. We have infrastructure that is rotting from the inside and poisoning people. And that is what nearly $2 trillion
You're making a great policy argument on that. But politically, they could have basically sold deficit spending on tax cuts if they also had included infrastructure. The irony is, politically, they could have given themselves more cover on that. Michael Flynn, Katy Tur, Michael Flynn. He apparently is no longer, his attorneys are no longer speaking to the president's attorneys. Now, the assumption is, oh, wow, that means it could be that Michael Flynn is now cooperating with Mueller. Michael Flynn is the one person Donald Trump has not thrown under the bus.
So he's broken the joint defense agreement with the White House. And that makes everyone believe that he has entered some sort of deal with Robert Mueller. And if he's entering a deal with Robert Mueller, that would mean that he has some bigger fish to turn over, somebody more important than Michael Flynn. Who is more important than Michael Flynn? It's a very small group of people. Jared Kushner, maybe Donald Trump, maybe Don Jr. But the question is, does he really have a deal in place? Or is he so leveraged because of the threats against his son? Is he just opening conversations because he has to? That being said, Donald Trump should be somewhat nervous by this because Michael Flynn was campaigning with him. He was on the plane with him. They grew very, very close. He opened for him at a number of rallies. And you're right, the 2 people Donald Trump doesn't go after, doesn't insult, Michael Flynn and Vladimir Putin.
Hugh Hewitt, you could argue he's got the Mueller probe because he was so obsessed with trying to save Michael Flynn from a Comey investigation. I mean, this has got to be a blow to the president.
There is a second interpretation, which is mine. The Foreign Agents Registration Act, everyone's going to become familiar with it. I think General Flynn got afoul of it, and I believe that he's cooperating, which requires the automatic ceasing of cooperation. I do not believe...
You don't think it's bigger than that?
I don't think it's bigger. But I think everyone who has violated FARA over the last 20 years had better lawyer up in this town.
Best story I've seen this weekend. Bob Mueller, via that, might be actually draining the lobbyist swamp when it comes to that. All right, guys.